Hey, good morning class, Mr. Carlon here. This is your third worksheet for active voice and passive voice. I feel like we've gotten a pretty good understanding of how to identify a sentence when it is written in the active voice and a sentence when it is written in the passive voice. We also have some good practice at rewriting passive sentences into active sentences. And this is really important because as academics, we need to really try to practice writing using the active voice as often as possible. But let's go ahead and read this introduction here to understand that reason a little better, and also to understand when we want to use the passive voice, okay? So it reads, use active voice whenever possible. Use passive voice to emphasize the receiver of an action or when the performer of an action is not easily identified. Okay, so let me go ahead and explain this to you. In this sentence, David was presented with a difficult choice. In that sentence there, we know it's passive because we have the auxiliary verb was and the past participle of present. Okay, so it was presented. We know that this sentence is written in the passive voice. Okay, now, if that is the case, is David the subject of the sentence? He's not. He's not. If it was an active sentence, we wouldn't have a passive verb phrase like this, where David would be at the beginning. So David is actually the receiver of the action. Okay, he was presented with the difficult choice. He's the one that's going to be receiving the difficult choice. Okay, and number 2, the library's hours were posted on the door. We have an auxiliary verb and a past participle, so we know that this is written in the passive voice. And we do not know who posted the library hours. Was it the librarian? Was it a volunteer? Was it the manager? We're not sure, okay? So in both of these, we're not really sure who the subject is or what the subject is. So they are written in the passive voice. And that can lead to some confusion sometimes, especially with academic writing or even storytelling. So we want to make sure that if we are doing this, we're doing this on purpose because we want to emphasize, we're bringing importance to something else. Okay. So let's go ahead and go through our practice today. I will read the instructions, read the example, and do one for you, and then you're on your own. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on Remind. Please reach out to me through email. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, okay? All right, so part 1, recognizing the performer of the action. Read each sentence, then identify the performer of each sentence. Please review the example for reference. Okay, so number 1, here's our example. Selma added onions to the salsa. Who is the performer of the action? Who is adding the onions to the salsa? Selma is. Selma is the subject. Selma is the performer of the action. Since she's the performer of the action, we know that she's going to be at the front of the sentence, so it's pretty easy to identify it, okay? We do not have a passive phrase here, okay? Let's go to number 1 now. Number 1, the club voted in a new president. In this case, our subject is at the beginning of the sentence, as it is in most of them, actually all of them. It is the club. And when you do this, I do want you to write the complete subject. So if it's more than one word, please include every word. It just helps you to understand easier what part of the sentence is the subject, okay? All right, so that's it for number 1, for part 1. Let's go to number 2 real quick. Part 2. All right, using active voice. Okay. Part 2, using active voice. Read each item, then use the noun and verb in each item to write a sentence in the active voice. So our example reads, Desi decided. These are the words we need to include. Okay. And our answer, the way this sentence was written is, Desi decided to watch a movie. Simple. Okay, pretty straightforward. We just have a nice short sentence that uses the subject and the verb, or the noun and the verb, and we wrote it in the active voice. Okay, so let's go ahead and do number 1 together. Nikki golfs. All right, so I'm gonna write Nikki golfs every Saturday. Easy enough, okay? So I hope you guys can see that, understand it. All I'm doing is using these 2 words and writing a sentence with those 2 words, okay? This one might be a little difficult just because some of you guys don't know what waddled means. But waddled, so we have ducklings and they waddled. Okay, so waddle just means that they're ducks that are walking. You know, a little funny walk that ducks do. That's what this word means here. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's any other words that might be confusing to you. Number 4, coiled. So a snake, when they coil, it's like when they wrap themselves up before they strike at something. So that's what the word coiled means. And screeched. So when the truck screeches, it's probably, in my mind, I'm visualizing when like a truck's tires are making a lot of noise. Maybe when it brakes, the driver slams on the brakes, or maybe when someone's gonna peel out and drive and spin their tires really fast before they take off. You'd hear that sound of screeching. But that's really about it, guys. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I hope this is pretty simple and straightforward enough to where you can get it done on your own, but if you need help, please reach out. I'll be happy to, okay? All right, I hope everyone's staying safe, and again, can't wait to see you guys in the classroom. Take care.